This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Hello, friends and neighbors. John Solberg here, your host for the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Super excited as always to tell you that today's show is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylarah 9 Plus briskets, and as always, they are handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for more than 15 years, and every week they're shipping out competition quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use The Butcher Shop win, and they win often. You may not be a competitor, but I know you've got an eye for the finer cuts. Great news, the Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of their cul-de-sac. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock, and again, always hand-picked for you. You might be saying, John, that sounds all cool and great, but I want to do something different. Rest easy. The Butcher Shop can get you something exotic. Maybe some elk steak, maybe some camel, maybe some alligator. I don't even know. You're going to have to give them a call and find out what kind of exotic stuff they can get for you. And I'll tell you how to do that in just a moment. But first, let's review. The best competition briskets? Check. The best pork selection? Check. Giving you better overall options to cook at home? Check. So you give the Butcher Shop a call today. 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. You mentioned the BBQ Central Show. They're going to give you 10% off your entire order each and every time. You can also check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/thebutchershop. Remember, shop is spelled S-H-O-P-P-E. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylarah briskets. And here's what's going on today. This show is going to describe to you the genesis of Operation Barbecue Relief.
Sometimes we lose sight of the fact that a lot of what barbecue has been based on over many, many years, especially in competitions. And a lot of teams will only take part in competitions if what they're going to win or if they're able to raise money is going back to some type of charity. Certainly no different than kind of what you and a bunch of people were able to undertake here a couple weeks ago down in Joplin. So first of all, if we could, a little bit about, the tornado, the structure damage, and everything that you guys saw. Where did the impetus come to kind of drive down there and help out?
Well, I guess it started on Sunday night after it happened. I've got some family in the Joplin area that I was concerned about, and was up till about 2 a.m. trying to find out what their situation was. They had all turned about to be okay, thankfully. The next morning, I was just thinking, there ought to be something that we can do. The way that the barbecue family cares about everyone, and the way that we're ready to, spring into action to help folks. Stan Hayes, who is with County Line Smokers, also here in Pleasant Hill, he puts on the contest with me here in town, and he and I spoke on the phone that morning on the way to work and said, we got to do something. So he was going to immediately make some phone calls to his employer, Farmers, and see if we could get in, next to them where they were set up in town. And I called and spoke with Carolyn Wells at KCBS and see if she could put me in contact with some folks at Sam's Club to maybe get some donations going. And that's just kind of how the ball got started.
All right, so when you actually get down there, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I was just going to say we put it on Facebook that we were going to do this on Monday night, and by Tuesday we had people lined up all over the place from I think we ended up having 8 states, representative people, cook teams that want to come and help us out.
So as you get down there and you start to make the trip down, obviously at some point you're coming into what is normal viewing to something that is completely, probably the likes that many of us have either never seen, probably will see, the amount of damage, devastation. What were your initial thoughts as you kind of rolled up onto the scene?
Our site was on the north edge of all the damage, and rode down with a couple friends to help Lee Keith from Sloppy the Backwoods Smokers. rolled down there to help him cover his aunt's roof with a tarp that had a board come through it, and it was just, we weren't even in the worst area there, and it was just more than I could comprehend. The next day, when we drove some meals around and into some shelters, I went down towards where the hospital was and so forth. And I guess the way I describe it to people is you've got to see, what's on TV, whatever you think of that, multiply it by 20, 30 times. I mean, you're standing there and you look around you 360 degrees and there's nothing but devastation. It's a completely hopeless feeling.
So how do you guys set up? Where do you get to kind of stage off? How many people showed up? How many cookers are showing up? How are you getting food in there? I mean, it had to be a tremendous undertaking.
Right. And you know what? To this day, I don't know how it all happened, other than the goodness of people's hearts. I mean, we had delivery trucks showing up and saying, hey, I'm supposed to drop this off here, and it might be a pallet of charcoal or what have you, and, a pallet of water and so forth. But, Sam's Club, Bill Dietz with Sam's Club was very instrumental in helping us and very, very, giving in what they were able to donate to us. And we ended up getting over 7,000 pounds of pork, and various supplies from Sam's Club. And that we just go pick up 1,000 pounds at a time. They donated a refrigerated truck that we could sit on site to keep all of our cold items in, and a regular truck to keep our regular supplies in. We got OK Foods out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. Excuse me. Showed up with a semi-load of 50,000 pounds of chicken.
Wow.
And so, we had the basics there. We had, a lot of folks had donated some rub. We got, and I'm just, I hate to leave anybody at all out, but there's just, tons of teams and barbecue companies that donated, rub and sauce. I know we had Butchers and Cosmos and Head Country in Oklahoma, and we had Stubbs and Slabs.com and Plowboys and Oklahoma Joe's, and then the folks from Taylor Smokehouse and Tennessee came up with a bunch more rubs and the largest smoker I'd ever seen in my life. It was just amazing how it all came together and the donations that started rolling in.
Really, like some of the top teams in KCBS and in competition barbecue that you just named off, Jeff. And we're talking with Jeff Stith from Big Creek Barbecue, talking about the relief effort that they put on down in Joplin, Missouri after the tornado. Everybody just kind of seamlessly work together, or is it kind of an effort to make sure that you're coordinating everybody in the places that they need to go?
You want to find out what Jeff had to say? Think about that. Monumental task. Never really been done. They head off into the disaster zone, just a bunch of people, and they figure it out, and they make it work. And they make it work again and again and again, right through today. Operation Barbecue Relief, great organization. If you want to hear the rest of the show, head over to the bbqcentralshow.com. Link in today's show notes is going to take you to the complete episode. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I am your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.